Hey. Howdy, 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 howdy. I hope we're doing well. My camera's acting up again. I don't know why. The viewfinder goes on for about 3 to 5 seconds and then it turns off. So if it gets out of focus or anything, I'm really sorry about that. I'm gonna try to stay in this little place of mine that it looked okay when it was on, when I saw it. Okay. Today we're doing the kindness pact again. I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded as frequently as I was before. I wasn't even happy with my schedule, with how many videos I was putting up before. I wanted to do more, and this week I've been even worse, so I'm sorry about that. I'm hoping things will go up from here and I'll start getting on a little roll. Okay, so we are on the second promise this week. We did the first promise last week, and it was about accepting your imperfections. If this is the first time you're seeing this, I think it's going to be okay, but if you enjoy it, then you can go see the first chapter and then the prologue, where I kind of play with the book a bit, read the back cover, kind of give some insight on it. But pretty much I'll be reading one chapter a week. I did see 13 Reasons Why, the show on Netflix, and it's I think it's very, very powerful, and it's kind of a reason why I've gotten into a weird funk. I know that sounds weird, like it sounds silly that a TV show can do that, but TV shows in general can do that to me. Movies, books, shows. It's weird. I have a really good imagination, and I can really put myself into, you know, the world that I'm reading, listening, whatever, watching, listening to, watching, and I think it's a really good thing when I want to escape, but it can be a bad thing because really good shows like really affect me in real life. It's weird, but I don't know, I think it's kind of cool because whatever, if it's whatever. Okay, so why I say that is I would really like to do a series on reading the book. I tried to go find it today, but it was sold out everywhere near me, so I ordered it online, so it should be a few days till it gets here, and I think I might just start on it right away while we're doing the happiness pact, the kindness pact. I think it actually will be a good they'll be a good pair. I think they'll be pretty complementary to each other. But yeah, if you haven't seen the show, I do say it is one of my favorite shows that I've ever seen, and it's incredibly powerful, but it's also very, very, very heavy. So I honestly think a lot of people actually will not be able to handle it, will not be able to watch it all the way through. So it's a great show. It's very powerful, but if you're thinking about it and you're hesitating a bit, I don't like it. It's understandable. If you're not ready to watch it, then you're not ready. I don't think I was ready to watch it, but I did it anyways, and but I can still appreciate it. It was really good. Anyways, sorry, this is not what we're talking about. Today we're doing the second promise, and the second promise is always do your best. And the little affirmation is, I always do my best, and my best is always good enough. Okay. And after kind of giving my insight and kind of doing little anecdotes while I read it, I asked for you guys' feedback if you guys like that or if that's annoying, and most of you said that you like and appreciate me kind of giving my own personal input in it, so I might do that here and there, maybe at the end, kind of a little reflection, we'll see, but yeah, let's just sit back, relax, you can close your eyes, you can watch me, let's just do this together, okay? Okay. When you consider your efforts, are you confident you have done your best? Do you take a relaxed approach, picking and choosing when to expend your energy and when it is wiser to conserve it, knowing that as long as you do your best will always be good enough? Or are you regularly in a state of exhaustion, trying to do everything, be everything, and have everything, worried that nothing you ever do will be good enough? I've dedicated a whole book, The Happiness Code. I love how she does these like shameless plugins. To the importance of simply being the best you can, and how this is the key to lifelong happiness and fulfillment. Now I want to talk about why knowing that your best is good enough is so important for your confidence and self-esteem. When nothing you do ever feels good enough, you exist in a constant state of dissatisfaction, frustration, and disappointment with yourself. Sorry, there's an ellipses there that I didn't notice. Not a great foundation for building confidence. Deciding instead to be the best you can be is the most confidence-nurturing decision you can make. When you choose to be the best you can be, you are able to let go of any desire for perfection. You no longer need to prove yourself to others by winning or being the best at whatever it is you choose to do. Being the best you can be is about establishing your own benchmarks and making them your goal. So many people misunderstand the difference between doing your best and feeling that there is nothing you can improve. I like that. I really like that, because that would be my quip with it, is how is it my best if I didn't do that, or I didn't do that, I didn't, there's always something we can do to improve, so how is that my best? And so I like that. So many people misunderstand the difference between doing your best and feeling that there is nothing you can improve. Tell me, what is the difference, Dominique? Just because you aren't trying to be perfect doesn't mean you should become complacent about your efforts. Many people find the idea of giving up perfection as a goal a little daunting, but they are reassured when I tell them not to worry. They still need to do their best. The challenge now, however, is to work out what doing your best means to you. It is rare that anyone ever finishes a task and can't see how it could be improved. For me, whether it's baking a cake or writing a book, as soon as I'm finished, I'm working out exactly what I would do differently to make it better next time. What have you learned? And what would you do differently next time? Are two of my favorite coaching questions. What have you learned, and what would you do differently next time? You can learn so much from your own experience just by opening your eyes. But just because you can see how you would improve something doesn't mean that it isn't any good, or that you haven't done your best. It just means that next time will be even better. Once you have stopped wasting your energy pursuing perfection, you are able to focus your effort on what it really means to do your best. There's a difference between doing your best and needing to be the best. Ooh. That's a good one. Hopefully you can see that. Sorry, I can't. There's a difference between doing your best. There's a difference between doing your best and needing to be the best. Between doing your best and needing to be the best. I wanna be the very best that no one ever was. Every time you finish something that matters, ask yourself, what went well? What didn't go so well? And what will I do differently next time? Your answers to these questions will not only help you to improve, they will also see your confidence soar as your belief in the power of your own wisdom and insight grows. That's a good way to look at it. Discovering room for improvement doesn't mean you didn't do your best. It just means that next time your best will be even better. Discovering room for improvement doesn't mean you didn't do your best. It just means that next time your best will be even better. Life is not an Olympic sport. It's not a competition with only one winner and where a lifetime's worth of training all comes to a head in one event. For the most part, life offers the opportunity for continual improvement, and it really doesn't matter what anyone else has achieved or how well they are doing. The only race you need to run is yours. What matters is how you feel about how you are doing. Sometimes when you look around and see the progress other people are making, it can be hard not to feel intimidated or overwhelmed. Don't fall into the trap of thinking this makes the other person better than you. Leave everyone else to work out what their best looks like and remind yourself that all that matters is that you do your best. Don't be intimidated by someone else's achievements. Do your best and don't worry about the rest. Don't be intimidated by someone else's achievements. Do your best and don't worry about the rest. So pretty much just because someone else is successful in something doesn't take away from what you've done. Doesn't make you any less. I think that's what I really need to tell myself. So when it says don't fall into the trap of thinking this makes the other person better than you, I think I would have agreed more if she had said don't fall into the trap of thinking this makes you any less than that person, or their success makes you a failure. Because that's just silly. Why give up just because someone else is, got a big break or has a lot of support or, got their dream job before you? That shouldn't make you, feel shitty or make you stop. And I think that's what I've been facing a lot, is I continually keep comparing myself to other people, whether it's other YouTubers or big stars. And I tell myself, what's the point of this? Am I really making a difference? Am I really, even if I do get, really big on YouTube, I'm only internet famous. What is, no one even cares about that. That's silly. That's, I can't change anything. I can't help people. It's just the stupid internet. And I think that's silly. I might not be able to change the world, but I can change a world. I can change a person's world. I can change several people's world by just being me and continuing on. If I were to hurt myself, or if something were to happen to me, I think as much as I want to tell myself no one would care, or it wouldn't do anything, it wouldn't make a difference. These people on the internet don't even know me, it wouldn't make a difference, who cares? I think that's silly, because if one of my good friends, even if I hadn't met them in person yet, one of my good friends on the internet, or a person that I look up to, a YouTuber, if something happened to them, that would really affect me. And though I know I try really hard to be a good person and to not judge other people, and I know that not a lot of people put in a ton of effort, on the internet. I know a lot of people are good people, but there's a lot of people that just don't give a shit, and I just think that everyone's like that I never just think, oh, well, if I'm affected by it, obviously someone else would be affected by it. Maybe the assholes won't, maybe the trolls won't, but there's going to be people who actually care about me. Even though that sounds silly, there's people that I actually care about, even though I haven't met them. And I think I just need to keep reminding myself that. Tangent. Sorry. Take the time to work out what your best effort looks like on a case-by-case basis. Not everything you do will require 110% effort. Not everything needs to be brilliant or exceptional in some way. I like that too. Not everything needs to be brilliant or exceptional in some way. And I think for a little bit, I was okay with that. I was okay with releasing technically pretty simple videos where, I just do kisses, or I just tap on things, or I just gum chew and ramble, simple videos. And I was okay with it for a bit, but then I was like, well, these aren't even good. Like, this is dumb. Like, these other people are doing amazing role plays and really profound, creative things all the time, and that's awesome. Mine's silly. Mine isn't anything special, but I'm special, right? Like, I don't know. I give everybody else. I'm weird. I don't judge on all the things that I have insecurities about. Like, I'm so harsh on myself when I wouldn't even notice that in another person. And I love simple videos. Those are my favorite videos. Really simple videos. My favorite ASMR artists are ones that don't even have a good mic. It's just an iPhone for a camera and iPhone headset. I love those because they're intimate, and there's nothing special. It's special because there's no overproduction. It's just them. And that's what I just need to get over. It's okay to just be simple, because there is brilliance, there is great stuff in simple things, and I think that's what I need to focus on in ASMR. Everyone is trying to be creative and do something new or make some spectacular role play, when really what I believe in ASMR is just about chilling out, relaxing, chilling out, all cool, and a couple of guys that were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood. Yeah, just shooting some b-ball. No, just, stop trying to make everything profound or crazy or unique. Just be yourself. I don't know. That's what I want to do. It might not make me the most successful or whatever YouTuber or person in the world, but I'll be me, and I won't get burnt out. I'll be happy. I'll build a community that I really enjoy and cherish because I know that they're there for me. And yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Sorry, I've been in a weird space the past week or so, and these are things that I need to tell myself, and things that I kind of want to get off my chest, because they're things that I constantly think about, and I talk a lot. I do, about my problems and things that I'm thinking, because in the past I'd lock them up and I would never say it, and it would just it just becomes really heavy. And why? Just talk about it. Just get it off your chest. I think people usually can understand. I'm silly. Okay. Anyways. In some cases, the best you will need to do is simply get it done. Just because you have the potential to do more doesn't mean you actually need to do more. It's true as well. If you try to be brilliant at everything, no matter how big or small, important or insignificant, not only will you exhaust yourself physically, but with such an impossible goal, you'll leave your self-confidence in tatters. You will leave your self-confidence in tatters. Every time you consciously let yourself down, you chip away at your self-esteem. Don't set yourself up for failure before you even begin. Don't set yourself up for failure before you even begin. So many people subconsciously erode their self-confidence by setting themselves up for failure before they even begin. I don't just mean with big things, hopes, dreams, and goals. I mean everyday objects too. The to-do list that's never going to get done. The restrictive diet you're never going to stick to. The exercise regime that's impossible to fit in. The budget you won't follow, and the commitments you know you can't keep. Instead of trying to be the invincible woman or man, take the time to think about what it is that you really need to do to achieve and what resources you have available to achieve it. What most things need time, money, energy, or a combination of all three. Time, money, energy, combination. If you take the time to consider your available resources before you begin something, whether it's tackling your to-do list or something far more complicated, you will have a far greater chance of succeeding. Nothing builds your confidence quite as quickly as being able to say, I did it. If you try to do the impossible, it will be impossible to succeed. Considering the available resources has been something I've needed to focus on over the last few years. I have always been an ambitious person. I have big goals for my working life, but I'm also ambitious for the rest of my life. The quality of my relationships, the way I parent, and my health and well-being sit at the top of my list. When I was young, free, and single, and otherwise unencumbered, if I had something I was focusing on at work, I could give it my all. 100% of my resources. There was nobody else I needed to consider, no compromises I needed to make, and nobody I would let down if I didn't come home when I said I would, or if I needed to work through the weekend. But my life book's different now. I have a deeply committed relationship that deserves to be nurtured, and 2 young children who want and need my attention. I still give my work my best, but that best is a very different shape than it was 10 years ago when I started my business. And I'm okay with that, because I've taken the time to work out what the best I can be at work looks like. I've always had to consider what the best I can be looks like in every other part of life. Although Andrea was a naturally happy person, hello Andrea, we are meeting Andrea now, apparently. When I first met her, she was tired, angry, and frustrated. A lifelong goal setter, Andrea had always had a plan. She had a plan for her day, a plan for her week, for her year, and of course, a 5-year plan to boot. But things weren't going to plan. Back at work a year after the maternity leave she had taken when her son was born, she had just found out she had been passed over for promotion. Andrea was quite emotional as she tried to explain just how upset missing out on this job made her feel. She said she had been all but killing herself trying to do a good job at work while juggling her responsibilities as a mother, and this setback was an insult to her efforts. At the same time, a part of her was relieved that she wouldn't have to do all the traveling this new job would have involved, but then she felt angry with herself for feeling that way, knowing what an important step this new job would have been in achieving her master plan. To put it plainly, her feelings were all over the place. Be realistic about your resources and do the best you can with what you've got. Be realistic about your resources and do the best you can with what you got. The first thing I asked Andrea to do was put her plans to the side for a moment and instead reconnect with her values. I reminded her that while she had career values, these needed to be compatible rather than in conflict with the values she held for her whole life. When Andrea got back to basics and thought about the things that mattered most to her in life, she realized she had been kidding herself to think that her 5-year plan was realistic. Her life had changed a lot since she had first written it, and while it was still technically achievable, it simply wasn't realistic for her if she was to honor her values for the rest of her life. She felt relieved to know that she wasn't off her game. It was simply that her game had changed. She felt relieved to know that she wasn't off her game. It was simply that her game had changed. Andrea was still ambitious for her career, but she now realized that those ambitions needed to fit in with the rest of her life. She still wanted to achieve most of the things on her original 5-year plan, but was happy if her plan took somewhat longer to come to fruition. It's easy to use the example of children as the source of parameters or boundaries. No one ever questions the commitment of a parent who needs to leave work at a certain time because they have children to collect. Of course, you can't leave your children waiting. But if you don't have children, you still have every right to put boundaries and parameters in place that prevent your working from taking over the rest of your life. I think that can come in with mental health as well, where a lot of people can't see it, and even though it's a lot more prevalent now and a lot more people can understand it, I still think it's easy to push away or be like, really? You can get over that, you can do that, which I think it's good. It's healthy to, want to get over it, to push through it. But still, I think you can have boundaries of when you just need to leave early, when you just need a day off, when you just need to recollect. And, it's something that not a lot of people can see, especially if you're not talking about it, because it can be hard to talk about. Regardless of your circumstances, take the time to consider the other commitments and priorities in your life and decide what your best needs to be in each individual situation. Be realistic, not only about your available resources, but also about the effort level required. I always remind my clients that even at the best schools and universities, 80% gets you an A. You don't need to give 150% effort to prove yourself, or anyone else for that matter, that you are trying to do a good job. There's a big difference between a first-class effort and a foolish level of effort. A first-class effort and a foolish level of effort. There's a big difference between a first-class effort and a foolish level of effort. I'm interested in what you're going to say, Dominique. I keep forgetting your name. I'm sorry. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, your best might not be that great. Your best might not be that great. It could be that you have underestimated your available resources. Who hasn't left something to the last minute only to realize you would have done a much better job if you had started your project sooner? Perhaps, try as you might, you just weren't able to get your efforts to align with your intentions. Sometimes your best will be a bit average, and that's okay. When this happens, protect your self-esteem and forgive yourself for being less than brilliant. You are only human. Sometimes you will succeed, sometimes you will fail, and sometimes you will stagger across the finish line just as they're packing up the race. Regardless of the outcome, as long as you have done your best has been good enough. There are no gold medals to be won in the game of life. There are no gold medals to be won in the game of life. For many people, being released from the burden of striving for brilliance all of the time is an incredible relief. If this sounds like you, and you've been exhausting yourself trying to be amazing at everything, always, you can stop, take a deep breath, and relax. I feel like, so my camera had died, and I feel like as I continue to read, my voice gets like lower and lower and more raspy. So when I restart, it like starts out high again. Sorry. When you're ready to get started again, we're doing good. You can be confident in the knowledge that your best will be different for different things and on different occasions, and as long as you do your best, that will be all that matters. How good is good enough? How good is good enough is a conversation I regularly have with first-time mothers, women who are putting themselves under enormous pressure to be the perfect mom. Oh, is this Australian? It's mum. They wrote mom, M-U-M. The madness. The sleep deprivation combined with all the other challenges of motherhood is enough to drive anyone crazy. But throw in the burden of perfectionism, and there is really no way anyone can expect to survive unscathed. 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 Should I read a little bit softer? Would that be better? Do you want me to do that? When I became a mother for the first time, I took an altogether more relaxed approach. Please don't take this the wrong way. I take being a good mother very seriously, but I didn't, and still don't, let myself get defeated by the details. I believe a newborn has only 5 fundamental needs: to be fed, to be clothed and sheltered, to sleep, to be comforted, and to be loved. To be fed, to be clothed and sheltered, to sleep, to be comforted, and to be loved. And this is what I set out to do. I still read many of the same books on parenting as my girlfriends, but I didn't judge my success at mothering on my ability to implement the strategies and suggestions contained within. From my perspective, all the popular titles were simply offering variations on how best to implement these 5 fundamentals. As long as I was doing my best to meet these needs, regardless of how I went about it, I was doing a good job. Like any new mother, for me, some days went well, some were disastrous, and many went by in such a fog of fatigue that I don't remember what they were. But through it all, I remained kind to myself. I didn't expect perfection of myself, or for that matter, my child. I was able to enjoy those crazy early days far more than many women do, largely because I knew I was doing my best, and that my best was good enough. You guys let me know how you like whispering. I'm gonna go back to soft-spoken now. Actress and founder of The Honest Company, Jessica Alba, agrees. I wish there were 2 of me and 48-hour days so I could get everything done, she told Parade. But for me, I have to not try and think that everything has to be 100% perfect all the time and leave room for error. As long as my kids feel loved and a priority, everything else is really secondary. Wise words from a very busy woman. When things don't go your way, whether it is as simple as forgetting to do something you said you were going to do, or more significant like missing out on a promotion at work, don't view it as a failure. Instead, be kind to yourself and recognize the effort that you made, regardless of the end result. Don't think of yourself as a failure. There are often many things at play that are beyond your control, but the thing you can control is your effort, and as long as you're given the situation the effort it deserves, then you have every reason to be happy with yourself. You are good enough. Fact. You are good enough. Fact. You are good enough. Fact. Fact, 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 fact. Remind yourself that everyone fails sometimes. Actually, it's a recognized fact that the more successful someone is, the more often they will have failed along the way. Failing or simply not getting something right doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make you a failure. It just means that whatever you are doing, whether it's baking a cake or starting a business, simply hasn't succeeded yet. You are not a share on the stock market. Your value is not determined by your performance. When things don't go your way, it's never a pleasant experience. I don't care how many times Richard Branson or any other successful entrepreneur has failed. I bet he or she has never enjoyed the experience. Knowing that even your best efforts didn't quite make the grade can be painful. Depending on what was at stake, it might be annoying, embarrassing, frustrating, humiliating, stressful, overwhelming, or heartbreaking. And whatever feelings you experience, it's important that you do experience them and don't hide from them or deny them. Many people mistakenly believe that in order to be a positive and happy person, you should ignore or brush over your disappointments and setbacks. But I don't agree. At least, I don't fully agree. I don't either. Well, I think it's important not to dwell on your setbacks or languish in your disappointment. It's important to both acknowledge and experience your feelings. All of them. Left ignored, negative feelings can fester and become debilitating, or turn into overwhelming fears if we try to hide from them. Don't hang out in the dark zone of disappointment any longer than you need to. I like that. Don't hang out in the dark zone of disappointment for any longer than you need to. Help your confidence recover from the knock it has taken by acknowledging your feelings, learning what you can from the situation, and then moving on and getting back to your authentic, happy state as quickly as possible. Authentic. I like how she says that. Authentic, happy state. You know that old saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Well, first don't succeed, dust it off and try again. Try again. Who sings that song? That's a really old song. I want to add something to it. If you want to. So often people attempt something, don't succeed, and then place themselves under incredible pressure to push in the hope that they might eventually succeed. While it's important to have the will and tenacity to pursue the things that really matter in your life, you don't need to apply this approach to every single thing you attempt. Michael had begun his career as a lawyer, but he had always harbored a secret dream of owning and managing a wine bar. In the year he turned 40, he decided to take the plunge. He resigned his partnership from a prestigious law firm and set about opening the coolest wine bar in town. When I met Michael, he was at a crossroads. His wine bar had been open for a year, and while he had enjoyed many of the benefits of being in the industry, regular wine tastings for one, he really wasn't enjoying himself at all. Although he had experience working on huge deals where millions of dollars were at stake, he found the financial management of a small business stressful. Even though it had received good reviews, the wine bar was barely breaking even, and Michael was having to watch the pennies in a way he never had to when he worked at the big end of town. He found it hard to get the right staff, and although he'd come from a legal background where he was no stranger to hard work, he felt like he was working all day and night for very little reward. While he enjoyed the company of some of his regular customers, he found others to be rude and dismissive, not to mention drunk. When I asked Michael if he had thought about closing the wine bar and going back to the law firm, he was shocked. It really hadn't occurred to him, as he explained, he was no quitter. Michael and I spent some time exploring the difference between quitting and giving up and deciding that something wasn't working and moving on. Quitting and giving up and deciding that something wasn't working and moving on. As painful as it is, it really doesn't matter if you fall down. All that matters is how quickly you can dust yourself off and get back up again. Again, with this one, how quickly. I think even that word quickly puts pressure on a person. I got in the accident 4 years ago, and I continually beat myself up for feeling like shit sometimes because I think about it and it feels like it was just yesterday. And this is saying all that matters is how quickly you can dust yourself off. Well, it's been 4 years, so I'm a piece of shit because I haven't gotten up and moved on and am striving and being successful, or am I genuinely happy? I don't think so. I think it's difficult, and I'll always struggle with it, and I'll get up. Maybe that's it, I guess, is I can get up and try. I'll probably fall down a couple times. Sorry. Just thinking. I think quickly, I like the word. I do. I don't hate it because I feel like some people need a push, need the motivation, need to just do it. Just do it. But it's okay if it takes you some time. It's okay if you fail when you try to get up quickly and do it. Because it's hard. Just a little thing. It might seem strange at first, but there really is nothing wrong with trying something. Finding that you crash and burn, dusting yourself off and your ego off and walking away. You don't need to stick around and conquer every single thing in life. Life is not a battle to be won. It's a journey to be experienced. That's a good one. Life is not a battle to be won. It's a journey to be experienced. I like that. And sometimes what you gain in the attempt is the insight to know that you don't actually want or need what once you were chasing. What you were once chasing. Although initially worried about being seen as a failure in his friends' and former colleagues' eyes, Michael soon realized that closing the wine bar and going back to being a lover of wine, not a server of wine, was the right step forward for him. Life is not a battle to be won. It's a journey to be experienced. Everyone has good days, when everything comes together with the greatest of ease, and not so great days, when everything feels like an uphill battle, from the moment you get out of bed in the morning to the time you get back in it at night. Having a bad day is a normal part of life, and just because things aren't going right, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. Don't allow the way you feel about a task, situation, or circumstance define how you feel about yourself. One of the most common questions I'm asked is, does being a writer about happiness mean you never feel unhappy? Do you ever have a bad day? Of course I do. I'm human too. But I do make sure that I don't let a bad day turn into a bad week turn into a bad month, or a bad month into a bad year. I don't allow having a negative experience to make me feel negatively about myself. When you truly believe your best is good enough, you can accept that you are having a bad day or feeling a bit ordinary, without this affecting the way you feel about yourself. That seems like that's it for always do your best, but there's a little transition part. The second promise is all about simply doing your best. Whenever you find you are holding on to unrealistic expectations and setting yourself up for failure, remind yourself that your self-worth is based on who you are, not what you can or can't do. It's based on who you are, not what you can or can't do. Make the commitment to always do your best and know that your best is always good enough. I liked that. The third promise will be stop comparing yourself. This is the one that I need. And the affirmation will be, I have no need to see myself as more or less than anyone else. My housemate is like opening the door, like, is she done yet? He wants to go out of his room, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm pretty sure I rambled a bit too much anyways, so I did enjoy this chapter. Looking forward to next chapter, and I hope I see you there with me next week.